First, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And shout out to Yakim that's going out there in the four quarters of the earth, teach this truth, and the time to do so is running out very quickly. As you know, the United States, America, Babylon the Great, is moving their positions into Saudi Arabia as they're planning to invade Syria, by protecting ISIS going into Syria, and they plan to do this through Saudi Arabia. And as if we don't know, what's really going behind the scenes, WWE doing an event in Saudi Arabia next week. It's to entertain the troops that are training ISIS in Saudi Arabia, and as well as a movie theater now moving, all of a sudden opening up in Riyadh. But that movie theater hasn't been there since Desert Storm. Remember 1990, Desert Storm? They had that movie theater. It hasn't been open for a very long time. But that's because that's where the United States is sending troops. They're sending in troops to Saudi Arabia because Iraq doesn't want the United States there. And neither does, we know that the Syrian government did not invite the United States there. But they're planning to invade Syria. And they'll use ISIS to do it. To move into Iraq, to go into Syria. But the thing is that Iraq is in cooperation with the Syrian government, to go after ISIS targets in Syria as well as in Iraq. So, of course, the United States is training more soldiers from Saudi Arabia to go in, which we know that that's ISIS. And, in fact, if you hadn't been catching the videos, you can go back a couple of them. You could actually see Donald Trump with al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, in Saudi Arabia. So that's what's going on now, as we know that Esau is about to come to his end. And, the whole world knows that the United States supports terrorists and that they are the terrorists. And, Esau's been caught in every lie. But what's also happening is that we're starting to trade places to where, to be an Edomite, to be Esau, is the new nigger. You know what I mean? Now he's the fucking nigger. He's the one that's looked down upon. Things are starting to take a reversal to where he's looked down upon. You notice that Esau's trying to get a foot in the door because of this whole Starbucks thing going on the East Coast, because our people refuse to serve the goddamn Edomites, and now they're being under fire. You see how Esau is now becoming the nigger of the world. South Africa doesn't want them in there. They're sick of the terrorists that are in there because, it was bullshit that they came in anyways and took over the country. But what's happening is we're trading places now, to where we, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, the confusion that faces to be among them, we're the ones that are actually, are the ones that are looked up to, where Esau's looked down upon. And you can see that. So I'm going to continue reading on. This is pretty much about the burial of GOG, which GOG is representative of Amalek, Esau, and also of Russia, because we know that a lot of the Amalekites are in Magog. So this is really a prophecy about the Amalekites, and we know that what's going on now through the proxies and all that, man, it's just, if you watch the history on this, another brother had broken it down, going into the history of the Greco-Persian Wars, and been going on for a long time, where Amalek was fighting Persia, which the Amalekites now are those fake-ass Jews who want to bring down Iran, and that's why they're going into Syria to try to break down Iran. Going after Hezbollah positions and going after Iran initially, because this is an old war being fought over and over again. So I'm going to read in Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 7, and this is when Yahushua has returned, and when, he's going to rebuild everything that Esau, Amalek, has destroyed. Start in verse 7. So I will make my holy people known in the midst of my people, Israel, and I will let them profane my holy name anymore. Then the nations shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. It's talking about Yahushua. Surely it is coming, and it shall be done, saith Yahweh. This is the day of which I have spoken. Then those who dwell in the cities of Israel will go out and set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and bucklers, the bows and arrows, the javelins and spears, and they make fire with them for 7 years. So we're going to be burning up all the weapons of these Amalekites, of the Edomites, and it's going to be a big, huge fire. They will not take wood from the field nor cut down from any forest. That's right, no more plundering the forest and cutting down them fucking trees. Don't you get so fucking sick of it? The rainforest is almost gone, because of goddamn Esau. And they will plunder those who plundered them, and pillage those who pillaged them, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It will come to pass in that day that I will give GOG a burial place there in Israel, the valley of those who pass by the east of the sea, and it will obstruct travelers, because they will bury GOG and all his multitude. Therefore we'll call it the valley of Hamon GOG. GOG is another term for Amalek. So it's a metaphor for Amalek. Hamon, we already know he was an Amalekite. So Hamon GOG is another term for the Amalekites. Those fake-ass Jews that have stolen our identity, but don't even look close to us. Those fake-ass Jews don't even look like us. For 7 months the house of Israel will be burying them in order to cleanse the land. Indeed, all the people of the land will be burying, and they will gain renown, for it is on the day that I am glorified, saith the Lord Yahweh. Then will set apart, regularly employed with the help of a search party, to pass through the land and bury those bodies remaining on the ground in order to cleanse it. At the end of 7 months they will make a search. They will search. The search party will pass through the land, and when anyone sees a man's bone, he shall set up marker by it till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon GOG. So this is the Amalekites finally having their burial place. Just kind of finishing what King Saul was supposed to do under the command of Yahweh. He was told to slay all the Amalekites. And you can say Yahweh Shai too. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, because the Son of Man has always been around. So King Saul was supposed to kill all the Amalekites. Well, we're finishing it right here in Ezekiel chapter 39. He shall set, the name of the city will also be Hamon. Thus they shall cleanse the land. And as for you, son of man, saith the Lord Yahweh, speak to every sort of bird and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come, gather together from all sides to my sacrificial meal, when I am sanctifying for you a great sacrificial meal on the mountains of Israel, that you may eat flesh and drink blood. You shall eat the flesh of the mighty, drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of the rams, of the lambs, of the goats and bulls, all of them fallings of Bashan. You shall eat fat till you are full, and drink blood till you are drunk, at my sacrificial meal, which I am sacrificing for you. You shall be filled at my table with horses and riders, with mighty men, and with all the men of war, saith the Lord Yahweh. So what's going to happen is we're going to be having a huge feast day over Esau, the so-called white man, those Amalekites, the ones that are wrecking the havoc, And of course, this is to back up another brother, who's just pretty much made an edifying video about the fact that, what is this Iran-Israeli state wars? That's an old one. That's really just a revisit of the Greco-Persian wars. Amalek has been there for years. We were prosperous under the Persian Empire, but now the final, when Lord Yahweh Shai, the Son of Man, returns, we will be finally burying Amalek for good. Thus the 1,000 years of slavery. But we're going to have a really good feast, however, putting them back into slavery, and of course, binding them, and then eventually they will die out after the 1,000 years has been served. But you can see, though, that pretty much all the weapons of war will be burned in a huge fire stockpile, and we'll also be burying them in the valley of Hamon, GOG, which is another term for the Amalekites, because Hamon was one of the kings of the Amalekites, and GOG is another term for the Amalekites. So pretty much that's when we pretty much have Esau's gone forever, because it pretty much is the head tribe Amalek in particularly, but all the Edomites are going to be burnt up in the pile. This is what we prophesy about, is right there in Ezekiel 39. You know, this is when, you know, for those that say that, you know, not all Edomites are going to be burned up. Yes, it is. That's exactly what Ezekiel 39 is talking about. And it's going to start at the head, which is Amalek, Hamon, GOG. So I hope this has been edifying, and like everything else, though, just, you know, enjoy this liberty while you can to go to a camp and to keep on studying and enjoying these videos and edify each other. You know, we haven't much time left. You know, they're going to push the mark of the beast. The economy is about to crash, and the idea is to get everybody on them chips so they can chip everyone while this war is going to escalate. They're going to be continuing to send troops into Saudi Arabia to train ISIS to go into Syria. And you can best believe while they're doing that, of course, they're going to be shutting things down here. You got another fake-ass shooting in goddamn Florida again. You got all this other shit going on as distractions. But we, the elect, are not fooled. So, shalom and barakatah to all you coming in.